before we start today's video, we gotta give her a good wash. Finally all nice and clean. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So I wanted to wash my car because it's been a while. I haven't washed my car, I want to say in about a month or so, just because it's been super rainy in the Bay Area. But today we finally got another mod on the car. This isn't a cosmetic part, it's mostly a performance part. And that's a lot of things that I want to do on this car just to make sure that it's running in tip-top shape, make sure that it handles great, still has the reliability aspect of it, and it's a blast to drive. In this box, we do have an F Sport chassis brace. I haven't even opened it up yet, but let me open this up and let me show you guys what we're going to be working with today. So some of you guys may be wondering, like, all right, man, what's up with all these like performance mods? Where's all the cosmetics at? I'm trying to see how we can make the car look a little cooler. Honestly, I've been doing that for the past couple years, and I feel like I've neglected the performance aspect. It's not really a performance car, but you know, things that will make the car feel a lot better, drive a lot better, and some things that I will only tell. And as a driver, if you guys install it, things that you can only tell as well. All right, so here we go. We do have the F Sport chassis brace in its glory. It's gonna go underneath the car. So in the front, you obviously have, you know, your strut bar. And in the back, we do have the F Sport sway bar. But in the middle, you don't really have anything. So this is kind of what will hold the car in place and, you know, balance the front and the back. And you do have the F Sport, you know, emblem right there. It looks pretty nice, although no one's going to see it. I think it's a good little touch. Let's just admire this craftsmanship, I'm not gonna lie. And the blue, I always love the blue just because it's a very unique color. All right, so now we're just gonna jack up the car from the back, and then we'll go in and see what we need to take off and then see what we need to do to install this bad boy. So it's a little difficult to film underneath the car and show you guys, but there are gonna be some panels that you will have to take out in order to install the new F Sport chassis brace. So there is a panel right here, like a panel cover on the passenger side, and then there is a panel cover here on the driver's side. It looks like most of them are screwed in with, you know, the poppet screws that you can use a Phillips screwdriver to unscrew. So let me go ahead and take those off, and I'll let you know how many of those are and if it's difficult. So yeah, so I was able to take off a good amount of screws on the passenger side. Both panels are actually a little different, so the screws are going to be in like different places. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take off as many screws from the back of the car to the front all the way up to this bar, because this bar is what you're going to be replacing and what you're going to take out. So I already did the majority of the driver's side, but I'm going to show you the passenger side because I haven't done that yet, just so you guys kind of know what to take off and how far to go when you're taking it off. For some perspective, you got the front of the car that way. I am, you know, that's the back of the car, obviously. There is going to be one screw right here. What you're going to want to do is you're just going to want to unscrew it with the Phillips screwdriver. It's essentially a poppet screw. So once you unscrew it, it's just going to unscrew, and then you could just pop this out, and then, you know, when you put it back in, just pop it back in and then screw it all the way. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then additional to all those screws, there is going to be one back here. You're just going to want to follow this panel and find where the screw leads all the way back here behind the wheel. This will give you some room so you can pull down this panel, and then you can unscrew these bolts that we will need to get to over here, just so we can kind of screw it in, and then that'll give you more leeway to get to the screws behind here to unscrew this bar. Probably sounds pretty confusing right now as I'm explaining it, but hopefully when I show you guys, like in a time lapse or whatever, how it's gonna be, you guys will have a better sense of what I'm doing as I'm doing it, instead of me just like, all right, take this one, take this one, take blah 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 blah. Like I said, it's kind of a weird angle, so it's kind of weird how I'm talking to you guys like this, but you pretty much saw that I took off all the panels here, and this gives me enough room to pull it back so I can access this bar and the screws behind the panel. So now I think this gives us enough space to unscrew everything that holds in these brackets. Just to show you guys, there is a straight bar that leads all the way from here to the front of the car. Then you're gonna unscrew that, and then this connects to this bar that I was talking about over here. And the bar leads all the way over here, and then same thing. It's pretty much like a U shape, but essentially the chassis brace is a full-on X. If you guys are working on the car like this, make sure you guys wear some like eye gear, or sunglasses, whatever. There's a lot of rocks under here, and if I didn't wear sunglasses, then probably would have lost my eye. So essentially the brace that's underneath the car right now is in 3 pieces. So if you want to take off this bar first, I would suggest doing that, because if you don't and you just take off the sides one first, it's gonna come out in 3 pieces. So if you take off this bar first, it'll just make it a lot easier to break it down. And they're all gonna be a 12mm socket. So all you need to do, plug them back in, unscrew it, you got them out. So now that we finally got the stock, brace out, we can now compare it to the F Sport one. It's in 3 parts, so it's not like it's anything crazy. It's not something that will keep you grounded, and it's not something that will hold the integrity of the car. But, looking at this one connects with like that, the corner point, corner, and then in the middle. I think overall, just the look of it, without even looking at any specs and comparing it to the stock one, this one definitely gives it a more like strong kind of feeling that you will be installing. So these, like I was mentioning, these are actually from more towards the rear of the car. And these have 2 bolts, 2 bolts, 2 bolts here, 2 bolts here, and then 2 bolts that bolts into here, and then same as here. Obviously, we won't be doing any of the crossbar, so it'll only be 8 bolts in total. So 2, 4, 6, and then 8. But yeah, we'll get this installed. I think it'll look better, and then I'll show you guys how it looks like when everything is buttoned up and in the car. So as you guys saw, we were able to get the F Sport chassis brace in the car. I got some bad news. There's good news, and then there's bad news. So the good news, obviously we were able to get in the car, but the bad news, it doesn't 100% fit how I would like it to. Let me explain. So as you guys can see, everything is kind of like in place. I haven't really, torqued everything down, tightened everything. It's just hand tight. The only thing that's not fitting is actually these panels. With the old chassis brace that was in the car, there was actually an indent in these panels, so that crossbar would actually fit with these panels. But with this new one, the bar actually goes a little bit further forward, so that these panels won't actually fit 100% with the chassis brace. So there's 2 things I can do. 1, I can cut these panels so that it fits with the chassis brace, or 2, just completely remove the panels because it doesn't really do anything. After about 10 minutes contemplating what I wanted to do, I actually took off the panel off of that side. So as you can see on this side, there's actually 2 pieces to it. So there's this piece of the panel, and then there's another one towards the middle of the car. So I take it off. It's probably the easier thing to do, but I just want to let you guys know that I ended up taking it off. Another thing I noticed is that I'm probably going to scrape this brace just because of how low I am. If I hit a big rock or anything like that, it's a good chance this is gonna get scratched up. It is what it is, not something that I can control. What I wanted to show you guys is these panels. If you have these, I suggest you take them off unless you really want to keep it under there and you want to just cut a slit somewhere so that the chassis brace fits. You can do that, but I think I'm just going to toss these. I don't have any use for them. But overall, here's how the chassis brace looks like. So everything looks good. I hope I don't scrape this as much as I think I will. I'm pretty low, and if you're someone who you just want suspension mods and you want to keep the stock height, I don't see you having any particular problems unless you hit a huge pothole or you hit a huge rock and you run over it and it just scrapes everything. Other than that, I don't think you should have any issues. If you are low, similar to me, you might want to be careful, and that's something you might want to consider before getting this, just because it does sit a little lower than normal. Just keep that in mind. But since I'm under here, I might as well just check on everything just to make sure everything is still tightened down. All right, y'all, just a quick update. I got everything finished, and I wanted to check under the car to see how low it's hanging. And let me tell you, it's pretty damn low. So if you look, you can see it peaking a good amount. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like it is going to rub, especially if I hit something. And I was planning to go lower with my car, like I wanted to lower it just a little bit more because I feel like it wasn't low enough, but I don't know if that's possible. So on camera, it doesn't seem that bad, but when you see it in person, it definitely sits a lot lower. So we'll see how it goes. All right, so driving for around 5 minutes, everything feels good. I went through my normal bumps that I go through out when I leave the house. Didn't scrape, I didn't hear anything. Everything feels stiff, everything feels good. So I'll keep you guys updated if I do hit a bump. I really hope I don't, but just in case I do, I'll let you know. All right, so we finally made it home, and so far so good. Everything felt fine, everything felt good. It felt really stiff. I took it on like a short little, turn, not in any like canyon roads or anything like that. But so far so good. Everything felt normal. I didn't hit any bumps, and I don't think the brace hit any bumps either. So I didn't scrape on anything. The one thing that I am scared of is any speed bumps. That's what I'm a little nervous on. Because I want to say my car it's fairly low. It's not the lowest car out there, and it's not the highest. But given that, the height that I'm at, but it does hang down pretty low underneath the car, which is what I'm a little nervous about. But I'll keep you guys updated if anything comes up. Yeah, so far so good. I would recommend it for like, the 20 minutes that I was driving. But like I said, I'll keep you guys updated in the next few videos, and if I feel a difference.